Hi there. The ghastly work of systematising a business. Goodness me, some of it is boring and takes some time. But there is an easy way to do it, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm actually sitting outside. Sorry, it's a rougher video than it might be, but we've had a lot of rain lately, and today we've got a bit of sun, bit of blue sky, and it's quite nice out here. So I thought I'd grab the opportunity and be outside instead. So anyway, let's get to this question of systematising a business, and in particular I'm going to focus on how you can get your team to do most of it for you. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to probably produce a better result, a better quality of system, and it's going to give them a sense of ownership and engagement with it, which is more likely to be effective in the long term anyway. So 3 areas of it I'm going to talk about. First is culture. And this one I think actually is mandatory. Anyone defining and designing the best possible culture for their business, absolutely you should be using your team to do that. It's a fun thing to do, and the conversations you have, the process of doing it, is probably 80% of the value anyway. Now, whether that's a case of, if you've got a small team, getting them around a table for a couple of hours and just brainstorming, what's important to us? How do we want each other operating, behaving, working together with our clients and so on? Great, come up with it like that. If you've got a bigger business, I know when I did this at Travel Bag years ago, we had 165 odd people around the country, all over 15 odd different sites, I think. And I sent just at one page a list of 50 words out to every staff member, and they each circled the 5 that they thought resonated most with what they thought we should be all about. And then the ones that were voted the most, that became, well, I did go through it and curate it a little bit, but in the end, not surprisingly, the staff came up with a version that's I think was perfect. And then we communicated a lot. We spent a lot of time putting it in place, but that was how we did it with a bigger team. So use your staff and together come up with what you think the culture should be. What are the values of your business? Second thing to think about is the org chart, the who does what. Now this one is, to me, the enjoyable and the most effective way of doing this, literally butcher's paper on the wall. Have some post-it notes. And then the team come up with what they think the best design is, who should do what. In the end, what you're looking for is to make sure that every important activity in the business is the accountability of someone and one person. So literally have lots and lots of little post-it notes with the different activities. There's probably going to be, 30 important ones probably. You'll probably add a few more than that with things that need to get done. And there's probably going to be, then just allocate them to boxes on an org chart. And as the team allocates those, there'll be lots of good discussion about how they should be shared, what's realistic for one person to have, one role to have, and you'll end up with a good allocation. Then someone obviously has to just tidy it up and document it. The last part is, great, we've now got what are we all about, the culture, the values, what's important to us. We've got who does what, who's accountable for what. And the last part that I think needs to be added is just how do we do each of those things, the processes. Now that might need checklists, it might need a definition of standards for certain activities, it might be literally a process flowchart, which by the way, that can also be done on butcher's paper in the wall, which you can just be adding the post-it notes to describe or to outline the step-by-step processes. Now you can just get your team to gradually work on this, like that process map it on the wall. You can also do it with, you can get someone in to do it. And I know I had one client who did the entire thing in less than a month. They paid someone to come in and just observe staff and then document everything and get the staff then look at it and confirm, yep, that's how we do it. Along the way, they actually made considerable improvements in their processes and they ended up with a fully systematized business. The other thing you can do is just, for any activity, you just need 2 people. You need one person to do it and you need another person to document it somehow. Now, for many activities, that could be just videoing someone doing it well. It could be recording it on audio. It could be watching someone doing it and noting down the key points, the key steps. So in the end, if you share that around your entire team, you've got clear in the org chart who's accountable for what. And assuming that any individual is only accountable for a small number of things, give them the task. Find someone to help you, and over the course of the next month, do 1 or 2 a week. Great. Suddenly, if everyone does that, a month later, you've got most of it done. If you have a couple of people working on it, it's going to take longer. But this is a way of just chipping away at it. It does cumulative, or in aggregate, it takes quite a lot of time. But for any individual, it's quite straightforward and not a lot of time. And suddenly, before you know it, you've got a systematized business. This is a huge step in getting the business to work without you, avoiding the business depending on any individual. So whilst the work required, if you think about, if I think about, God, I've got to systematize my entire business, it sounds horrendous. It's a lot of time, quite boring, hard work. Great news is it always works. There's no rocket science, there's no mystery, there's no art form to it. You've just got to get it done. And if you engage your team effectively with it, it's enjoyable, you get a much better result with it, and they really have a sense of ownership and engagement, so it then becomes effective. It's good stuff. Now, that dog looks like he really wants to play. He's now tearing a ball apart over here. So I might go and run around as well. But good luck with systematizing your business. It is straightforward. It may not be exciting, but it's incredibly exciting when you start to see the business working without you. All the best.